Local government is a system of public administration at a local level, charged with the responsibility of bringing the people at the grassroots closer to the government. A critical survey of local governments in Nigeria today shows that they are living in the shadow of the federal government. Successive Nigerian governments have made tremendous efforts in reforming local government in Nigeria, starting from the 1976 local government reform under the former Obasanjo-led federal military government, which has been acclaimed as the most progressive and revolutionary development. While the reform was intended to stimulate self-government and to encourage initiative and leadership potential. Joining us to discuss grassroots politics and community development in Lagos is the Deputy Chairman of the Lagos State Councillors Forum, Hon.Remy Shittu. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us. If we were to start with grassroots politics here in Lagos, how would you define that? What does that actually mean?
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. And I think grassroots politics majorly has to do with the mobilization of people in a particular community, district, or region, and that has to do with influencing, people positively. That's what grassroots politics basically means.
All right, talking about influencing people positively, Remy, one of the major inhibiting factors that local government faces in terms of developments at the grassroots was funds. But since June 1, 2019, that's last year, LGs, that's local governments, now receive their full allocations. How has it been since then?
Well, as we speak, local government do not receive directly allocations. Let's get that clearly, because the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, clearly states that all money that accrues to the local government must be paid into the state joint local government account. That's the LG account, and that's the process. So the federal government, after the fact, making the pay into the state joint local government account, where the state now distributes to the various local governments. The federal government is going to send money for Lagos State, for instance. They're going to send funds for 20 local governments, and it must be, distributed across the 20 local governments and the 37 LCDAs.
But are you saying that what the federal government did is being disobeyed by the states? Because I have something here that is a report that NFIU is promising to go after banks who pay local government allocation to the state government. But there's a snag, the fact that, okay, maybe NFIU may not have the legal local standard to be able to effect that promise. So are you saying that the states are not doing what the federal government has asked them to do?
You see, NFIU is a financial intelligence unit, that says that money should be paid directly to the local government. Yeah. But we need to understand something very clearly so that we don't mislead, giving information out. I said the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria clearly states that all money coming to the local government must be paid into the state joint local government account. And the Constitution hasn't changed. Section 162, it doesn't change. So if NFIU wants money to be paid directly to the local governments, then they may have to first, lobby the National Assembly to change that portion of the Constitution. So as it states today, I'm telling you categorically that money is still being paid into the state and local government account and not directly.
But then that seems to still be a problem, because we know that local governments have been complaining about the fact that they don't have funds, to do what they're supposed to do. Most roads, Remy, in the local governments are horrible. I didn't use the word bad, horrible. I mean, almost impassable. And this is one of the reasons why this had to be done. So how are you maneuvering around that?
Okay, we still need to get this very clearly too, that the challenges of the local government is huge, it's highly demanded, and then going by the mega funds that is coming to the local government. And so most of the issues Okay, most of the issues that surround the local government in terms of development, we need more of state and federal intervention. For instance, if you look at my street, the video showing now, that's my street, and that is me there. My street is beyond what a local government can do. If the local government wants to do only my street, for instance, in the local government, that means they may be putting up the entire budget of the year, almost the entire budget of the year, into my street. We have about 300 streets in my ward, and we have 7 wards in the local government. So what we are saying here is that the funds coming in may not be able to allow the local government to be able to do something. My street is almost 1 kilometer. So the funds, you can't put all the funds on only one street. We have salaries to pay, the health is there, the primary health care is still there, primary education is there. So many other things are begging for attention as stipulated in the budget. So it may not be really possible to do, a whole street from the local government account, except streets that are short, that local government can easily do.
I'm so happy that you said that so many things are begging for attention when it comes to development or literally just attention here in Lagos. A few weeks ago, we can even cross over into months, Arise News and myself, we went into an almost forgotten community in Makoko and went to go see how people were living on the water there. And it's no secret to you, I'm sure, that water that they live on is the same water that they use for sanitation. It's the same water that they eat with, that they use for human waste to go to the toilet. They use that water for everything. And the consensus we felt when we spoke to families is that they felt forgotten. If they vote, they go ahead. When voting time comes, they do go ahead and vote, but they do feel as though their plight and their struggles are systematically forgotten by the Lagos state government. And when you look at grassroots level politics and representatives like yourselves who are tasked with making sure that everybody is included and no one is left behind, don't you see that the plight of the people in Makoko is a failure on your part?
Well, Makoko is just one of the places around in such state. That's why I said what a leader in the grassroots ought to do at that point is to influence the presence of the state government and then sometimes even the federal government. In each constituency, we have a member of the House of Assembly, we have a member of the House of Representatives. So when there are issues that are beyond what the local government, can do, then I think the next thing to do would be to try to lobby your House of Assembly member in the Lagos State House of Assembly or the House of Rep member in the House of Rep, so that the state or even the federal can, assist in achieving one of these things. We are so sad that some of these places are like this. No leader will pass by and be happy that the people are suffering. No leader at all will be happy. But then you cannot give what you don't have. We work based on the funds, we have. And then the local government can barely, do a few things like the primary health care, like I said, the primary education, a few things in the local government.
Yeah, it's kind of understandable. Yeah, there are ones you cannot do. There are ones the chairman, the councillors cannot do. But what about the ones that you can do? The question is local government doing it? For example, chairman and councillors are supposed to be responsible for the development of these grassroots. But you hardly, I could see you there, all right, helping do some work. But the people within the areas where these people live hardly know them, hardly see them, hardly get in contact with them. They hardly tell them what they're doing when they want to talk about. For example, I was discussing with one of the guys in my area, and I said, look, this road I drive at, it's getting worse. It's getting bad every day. And it's not good for the cars we drive. What are you guys doing about it? And he was telling me, sir, I know you're a broadcaster. Do I write a letter to you so you can put it on air? Stuff like that. There are ones you people can do, but it seems that the councillors and the chairman are not doing that.
Okay, let me make a clarification. A councillor is only a representative of the people. The councillor does not have any power, to execute any project. The execution of projects solely resides with the executive chairman.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you look at my street, for instance, which I said is about 1 kilometer, that's almost an express, considering the drainages and everything. And I said the money that will be involved in putting that together is huge. Nevertheless, if we have an intervention from the state, talking about streets that are very long, then we can be able to do one or two things. But going back to what you said, that hardly do you see your councillors, hardly do you see the local government chairman. You may not be able to see your local government chairman every time, and that is why you have councillors around. So I believe a councillor should be able to make himself available. I'm always available to my people every time. Okay, that's me you're saying. Almost every Saturday. If I wasn't here today, I would be in about 4 meetings this morning, because end of the month Saturday is always meetings for all the CDAs and street associations. So I think most councillors are always, they try their best to be around. But then I must say this also, that most of the time, the people also discourages, the councillors from coming around, because once you come around and you want to try and see one or two things about the challenges, the next thing they are disturbing you for is, money for this and money for that, and I want to pay my child's school fees. Somebody is dying in the hospital. I just go to bed, and I need to, I need a cow from you. I need a ram from you. These things put councillors aback. But if the people also, embrace us and allow us, for instance, some of the time I may choose not to drive. I just walk around the community, But the more they get to see you around, really, they stop asking you for those things, and they know this guy is there to work.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Remy. I must say, what you do. One hopes that others like you are doing the same thing. I think if the go round, I saw that place was quite filthy. We will take a break. I will get back. I will talk some more about the environment too and some other issues. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. We are still joined by the Deputy Chairman of the Lagos State Councillors Forum, Hon.Remy Remy Shittu. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for staying with us, rather. I wanted to talk to you about infrastructure here in Nigeria. We are in the thick of a rainy season, and we do know that when it rains in Lagos, it does come down pretty heavy. And within minutes, you'll have gutters overflowing, people struggling to move around, cars struggling to navigate the spaces. I know that you said that your position is limited in terms of executing plans and projects in this case, but what do you think you can do to relieve the tensions being felt by the people of Lagos during this rainy season?
Okay, thank you. One of the things we're trying to do first is to sensitize our people, because when you talk of flooding, it means there's a blockage somewhere and the water isn't flowing as it should. That is what flooding means. So it is the same people, our people, that dump waste indiscriminately into the drainages. Some of them do not want to patronize Loma. They choose to patronize cart pushers. Cart pusher cannot push from Surulere, for instance, or from even Ikoyi, for instance, all the way to Ekpe to go and dump. No cart pusher has that time, because he wants to go and pick from the next customer. So the best a cart pusher would do is to go and dump in the canal or in the drains. And then when all this happens, it blocks the drains and stop water from moving. So what is the solution here? The solution is to clear the drains. And what the local government and the state government can do at this time for our people is to help to desilt or to dredge the canal. And then each of the streets, the community will try to link up to the canal where water can flow easily. Yeah. You get it? So, for instance, now, about a few weeks back, the member of the House of Representatives in my constituency, that's Engineer Gani Johnson, was able to influence the Lagos State government, Ministry of Environment, to help to dredge the canal, all the way down. And even Chief Barrister Henry Dele Ajomale, also most of the time when we have these challenges and we call upon him, he posts his scorecard on whatever letter we are taking to the state government so that it can carry weight. And then we have been getting results from even people in the community, what the government at this time is doing for the community. But desilting and dredging is not the lasting solution. The lasting solution will be for people to be disciplined, and begin to dispose their waste as they should. The Agopa last week was just being desilted a few weeks back. The descent is still ongoing. If you see what was being, what people brought out, the people that are desilting, what they brought out from these drains, you'll be shocked how these bottles and everything that could not easily go, through the manhole, find a way to that place. So all this boils down to, and people that sell on the walkway, on the highway where they shouldn't be selling, all this boils down to blocking the drains. And then Lagos already is 2 meters below sea level, meaning that when rain falls, there's this we call flash flood, but it should go in a matter of minutes, or yes, a few 1 2 hours, everywhere should be dry again. But when the water stays and it's not going, it means the drains are blocked. And it's not the government that is blocking it. So government will still have to come and assist in desilting some of this.
You talked about discipline. I mean, you can't get into my car for whatever reason and fling something out of it, no matter who you are. You ask me, I say, leave it in the car, I'll get it out to a dustbin. Most times this has to do with culture. By culture, I mean the way people think, the way people do things. You see people drop things around. I was just watching a picture you were showing there. That place is really, really filthy. How do you, especially these days that the, what do you call it, the environmental cleanup is no longer there. How do you get to either coach your people, either change their paradigm, to stop littering the places? And how do you clear that place? How do you get around doing all this? How can you achieve that? Because again, it begins with people, trying to help their environment as well.
Okay, now, the topic this morning centers on what you just said now, community development. I think we should first define what community development is. Community development is a process where community members come together, to take actions and provide solutions to common challenges. These challenges, one of it is this flooding we are talking about. Among so many other challenges, but because this is rainy season, we center most of our discussion on flooding. So when community people come together, they must, by themselves, put up task force in various places, in various areas. They need to take charge. The government may not be there 24 hours. For instance, when we put up task force on Agopa last week, the government cannot be there for 24 hours. These people are staff. They will have to go home. They will have to close at a certain time. And we even change the strategy. Okay, come and be staying in the night, since they do that basically at night. And the people change their strategy again to put in it when the Loma, the Loma people normally sweep in the afternoon and put by the roadside. So the people also join them. The ideal thing was for Loma, the highway Loma, to come and pick when the street sweepers sweep and put by the side. So these market people also use the opportunity to also put by the side of where the Loma. So the next minute a Loma is speaking. Sooner than later, before the truck gets to the other hand, you see everywhere littered again, as if nobody has worked. It really boils down on the people being responsible and then, doing the right thing, disposing waste adequately where it should be disposed.
What do you think needs to be done to get to that point? I feel as though that's a conversation we have so many times, that on the one hand, you definitely have to hold your elected representatives and the like responsible for the caretaking of your community, but then also as members of your community, there is also a level of responsibility you assume, because you want the best for your living space and for yourselves and your family. So what do you think needs to be done to tally that, so that the needs of the people and of policy and government kind of synergize and come together early? Because I think that, I know that you've been talking about things taking a process, but what it feels as though is that many people lack the patience because they have been suffering for so long or are used to a certain type of lifestyle. It takes a lot, I'd imagine, to break away from those habits. So what do you think needs to be done to avoid situations where you have Loma coming to clear the streets and within minutes people dumping on those empty spaces again?
Thank you. The question you just asked now is very broad, and I will try and break it as much as I can. Now, talking about community development, sensitizing the people and all that, community development has to do with, bringing governance closer to the people. And that is why I give kudos to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who during his time as a governor created additional LCDs for Lagos State so that we can continue to bring governance closer to the people. I sitting down here might not have had the opportunity of becoming a councillor if the LCDs weren't created. So when we talk of community development, people trying to come together, putting up a leader to lead them at a particular point, it's the same thing as, as much as possible, bridging the gap between the people and the government. Now, every representative must be effective in carrying out his duties. What I did was to bring community leaders together on a platform. I know it may not be possible for me to bring the whole community together, but I now selected their leaders and brought them together on a platform. I approached the DPO, I put the DPO on the platform. I approached the undertaking manager for NEPA, Keja Electric now. I put him on the platform, and I approached the Loma PSP operator in my ward. I put him on the platform so that on every street, in every CDA, where there are challenges of maybe waste management, Loma not coming to pick my waste, the head of the community reports on the platform, and immediately the Loma person, I'm telling, why have you not gone to pick this people's waste? And it's been very, very effective. For instance, too, maybe electricity issues. Where,
I wish we could go on. I even wanted to talk about the fact that politics, also the kind of people that are choosing, but I can't get there. I want to thank you, Remy Shittu, Deputy Chairman, Lagos State Councillors Forum. Continue to do your good work and continue to bet high. Thank you for being on the program.